Hello guys, so in our last lesson we walked through our first event and we made our objects be hidden using at the beginning of the scene. We're going to hide this object. This time around, let's go ahead and change or modify our player controller so we can have something that's smoother and nicer for a platform. So double click on the player and jump to behaviors. Now for our jump speed, I'm going to set this to, let's say, 250. And our falling speed, let's set this to say 300. And for our ladder climbing speed, let's set this to say 120. And let's see our acceleration and deceleration. We don't want the character to be going too fast, so let's set the acceleration to 400. And then let's decelerate by, let's say, 750. And let's leave our max speed at let's say 200 and hit apply. And let's go ahead and test the feel of the player right now. So let's see. Now, well, it's a bit more responsive, and then the jump height is kind of like fair for a platformer. Whoops, and we just fell out the level. So you can actually tweak these values to get a value that you want to work with on the behaviors. But what we can actually do is this. What if we turn off the default controls, what happens? So let's hit apply and click preview. Now we're not getting any movement right now. So it's like we have deactivated the player controller because we are the behavior, because we actually turned that off. Now what we can do is to see how we can create that real quick using the event system. So this is not going to be dependent on the platformer behavior. This is a different system, and what we want to do is to add some forces to the player to push the player to the right when we press the right arrow key on the keyboard, and to push the player left when we press the left arrow key on the keyboard, and to make the player jump when we press the space bar. So let's see how we can actually do that. So let's add a new event, and let's add a condition. Now the condition is going to be a keyboard. So under input you'll see keyboard. Just click down here, and when we have a key pressed, and let's just type right. So this is the right key, and click OK. So when the right key is pressed, what we want to do is to add a force. So let's say add force to the player, and on the x-axis let's say 30 pixels per second. On the y-axis we'll set this to 0, and if we leave this at permanent, it's going to push our player. Let's actually, for fun, let's just do this. So when we press the right key, we want to add a force of 30 pixels per second on the x-axis, which is on the horizontal axis, and 0 on the y-axis. So let's click preview, and once we press the right key, our player keeps on moving because our force, we set it to permanent. Let's set that to instant, and if we click preview now, I'll just maximize this. If I press the right key and release, our player is going to be moving at 30 pixels per second. So if we press the left arrow key, nothing happens. So let's actually do this. So let's create the condition again. So let's go to other conditions. Under input, we clicked on keyboard, key pressed. Let's type left. And if you want to find out all the other conditions that exist, you just scroll down and you can actually find them here. So things like comma, space, dash, the equal sign, escape, but we just want left. So I typed left. So click OK. So if the left key is pressed, let's do the same thing here. So what we can do is we could copy this and we could paste this action. But let's go ahead and modify this. So we want to add a speed of minus 30 pixels in the x-axis. So we're basically reversing that when we press the left key. So let's save this, and let's go over here, and if I press left and the right key, nothing happens? Why is nothing happening? So this is why it's very important to understand how we create these conditions. First, we say if we press the right key, and this is true, add a force of 30 pixels on the x-axis, that's fine. So next we're saying again, if the left key is pressed, which will become true if we indeed pressed it. So let's add an instance force of minus 30 pixels on the x-axis. But we're checking for the left key and then the right key pressed at the same time. So it's now confused. It doesn't know what to do. So the best thing to do is to separate this into its own unique condition. Right? We could just drag this out and separate it, or create a new condition separately. So let's go ahead and click this. So let's add a new event, and let's say key pressed. We could just type key pressed and we'll say left. And if we click OK, we can add the action. We'll just say force, add a force to the player, the x-axis minus 30 pixels, on the y-axis 0, and instant force, and let's click OK. So now we have two separate events that are not mutually exclusive because we're not stacking them on top of each other. Events run from top to bottom. If one event condition is satisfied and you have another one underneath it, it'll make sure that condition is satisfied as well. If you have like 10 events, it's going to run from top to bottom and make sure each condition is satisfied. But if we separate them here, it's going to be listening to these two conditions separately. So let's go ahead and click preview. So if we press the right key, we're moving forward. If we press the left arrow key, we're moving towards the left. Now what we can do is to add another event and then jump into a condition. Let's say it's a key pressed event, and let's say a space, and let's click OK. So let's say a force. So add a force here to the player. So the x-axis is going to be 0, but for y, let's do minus 40. Why am I using minus 40 for a force if I want the player to go up? Well, the reason is because on a computer monitor, the origin or the starting point is at this location here. So this is 0, 0. If you can actually see the mouse cursor here, I'll just try and zoom in, and I want you to notice this area right here. So if I zoom in here, if I keep zooming in, like so. So here, I'm trying to find I think this should be it. So this is our 0 point, and as we keep going down, we can actually see what's happening. So the higher we go, we actually jump in towards towards 0, like so. So our origin is going to be 0, 0 at the top. So if we keep going down, we're decreasing, but if you want to go up, the value of your negative value is going to be getting, kind of like higher. So that's why I used a negative value. Let's click preview. And let's maximize this, and if we press the Y button, we can actually see our player trying to jump, but I think that value is super low. So let's go ahead and tweak that and set it. Let's give it a higher value. So I'll jump over to the events, and let's say minus 100. So let's go ahead and go to file and then save, and then click preview. So we can actually see our player is kind of like hopping like so. So that's how you can play around and add some of these events to your game. But since we have the platformer controller, what we're going to do is to take advantage of what exists using some built-in behaviors. So that's an example of a built-in behavior. They are external behaviors that have been built by individuals. So what we can do from here is to add comments. So I'll show you how to add comments in the next lesson.